Fire. It fascinates and terrifies us at the same time. It triggered the development of our species, and yet millions of years later, it still challenges us. For nearly 2 weeks this year, fires swept through southern Greece. More than 800,000 hectares of land were ravaged and thousands of homes and entire villages destroyed. By the end of August, when the fires were brought under control, 76 lives had been extinguished. Smoke from the fires drifted across the Mediterranean to Egypt. But the devastation in Greece followed destructive fires elsewhere in Europe. The red dots in these satellite images show fires burnt in the Balkans, Italy, Spain, and Portugal.
The fire climate has definitely changed in a way which promotes the spread of large fires. There's been a massive increase in, for instance, the fire frequency in the boreal areas of the world, that is Canada, Alaska, Siberia.
Dr. Bob Scholes is a fellow of the CSIR and world expert of the role of climate change and its impact on fires. He says global warming is showing itself in the increasing numbers of fires we're seeing around the world. They're fires few countries are prepared for.
Imagine that you're in, let's say, England, and you get a fire in the New Forest. You know, that hasn't happened in several hundred years, if not 1,000 years. There's no understanding of how to deal with that. It would, in that situation, classify as a national disaster.
The Greek government has come under intense pressure because underfunding of its firefighting services meant it was clearly unable to handle the fires. Firefighters from 20 countries had to step in and help. But how scared should we be in South Africa? This past winter saw plantation fires sweep across Mpumalanga and Swaziland. They destroyed over 84,000 hectares of plantations, killed more than 20 people, and caused damage estimated at about 2 billion rand. When plantations burn, flames leap a kilometer into the sky as gases escaping from the trees ignite. Fire crews can't get near. Val Charlton of Working on Fire is pessimistic about our readiness.
I don't think we are managing fires adequately, and the reason for that is that the level of preparation on the whole in this country is insufficient.
Val deals with fires on a daily basis. Her organization, Working on Fire, is a government and private sector initiative that was created in 2003 to develop an integrated firefighting strategy. She believes we're in for an increasingly fiery future.
Opinions differ as to the increased risk of fire, but some people have said it's as high as 300% higher.
But the difference between South Africa and Europe is that we have a fiery landscape, and we've learned to live with it. Ironically, it took a major disaster 6 years ago to propel us to the forefront of fire research. In 2001, Carte Blanche covered the disastrous fire that led to the deaths of 23 people in the Kruger National Park. The tragic Kruger Park fire was a turning point for fire managers across South Africa. It was clear to them that we needed a fire warning system in place. So, thanks to the combined efforts of the CSIR, ESCOM, NASA and the University of Maryland in the United States, the Advanced Fire Information System, or AFIS, came into being. The AFIS system is the brainchild of a young man we met on our story 6 years ago.
Kilometers long. Philip Frost, a master's student at the Institute for Soil, Climate and Water, explains.
The red images indicate active fires at that stage, while the yellow indicates areas that's starting to burn. The black
Using satellite technology at the time, Philip managed to find the ignition point of the fire and how it had gone on to kill the grass harvesters.
Is this smoke plume that's coming from...
Working on that story led him to develop AFIS.
Sure, I mean, when you're young, you're ambitious and you think you can save the world, so it was an opportunity to just see what the data could provide, and we're in a unique position of having this information where very few people have access to such satellite data providing near real-time information about our region. So I knew I was in a position to possibly help out And at the end of the day, 23 people lost their lives, and if we can do something to help, then that's our obligation to do so.
For the past 6 years, Philip has been refining his technology, and today his project is based at the CSIR's Hartebeespoort satellite tracking station. The dishes here track satellites from many countries, which pass overhead daily. And although there are some big dishes here, Philip's one is dinky.
This is where we receive most of our remote sensing satellites. What we have here is the Meteosat second generation system. It's a system that records information every 15 minutes. And it's very much used by the guys in the meteorological departments. South African Weather Services make use of this type of technology. It's quite a coarse resolution satellite, but we found it to be very useful within the fire monitoring environment itself.
The APHIS system uses 2 polar orbiting satellites known as Terra and Aqua, which circle the Earth every 90 minutes. The scans they make are processed by software, and the results displayed on a website using Google Earth. The red dots mark the location of fires with a circumference of 50 meters or more. For the past couple of years, Philip has been providing information to Eskom as veld fires were causing outages on their power lines. The system went online last month to supply information to other users.
Can you give us a practical example as to how you might use this information? Who is it sent to? How would they react?
Sure. We started in the last few weeks providing the information not only to Eskom, like we've done for the last few years, but also to fire protection associations. These fire protection associations in the country receive cell phone alerts as soon as a fire is detected within their area of interest. In the case of the Kruger National Park, for example, we could specify Skukuza as a reference point, and we can immediately inform people as soon as a fire is detected within proximity of our region of interest. So we could say there's a fire 21 kilometers southwest of Skukuza at this GPS location, just recorded by the satellite, provided to the right person on his cell phone in real time.
Unlike similar systems elsewhere in the world, APHIS is designed to be used by anyone with access to the internet.
When fire reports are sent out from the APHIS system, working on fire immediately dispatches choppers and planes to deal with them.